So on my last video, a few of you guys wanted me to create a video on slow cars that look fast. And guess what I did? Well, I listened, and now I'm delivering. But I feel like I need to say something before the video begins because I can already see the comments section with angry viewers just typing away. The only thing that I factor in this video is straight line performance and nothing else. That said, let's begin. The first car is a Subaru BRZ. This is probably the car I'm going to get the most hate for including, so I decided to put it first on the list and get it over with. If you look up this car on online forums, there are endless debates and discussions about the amount of power the BRZ outputs. Some people saying it's slow, others saying it's fine, some saying it shouldn't be about the power but more about how much fun you have while driving it. Here's my take on it. It's slow. No! It carries a 2-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine that produces 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. New ones having both horsepower and torque numbers increased by 5. The BRZ completes a 0 to 60 run in 6.2 seconds. It's definitely not the slowest, but if you had to judge its straight line speed by its sporty appearance, you'd think it's much faster than that. You know, the opposite of a sleeper. Ouch. But time to give it some credit. I've drove one of these before and I gotta admit they are fun to drive, especially swinging around corners, which honestly it's the BRZ's specialty. It can be the ultimate toy for the track. It's great on corners, its electric steering offers great responsiveness. To put it simple, this car will do anything you ask it to do on a twisty track. Some even say the handling feels like those of a Porsche. This is a car focused primarily on fun factor when driving. Sure, it's not all that fast, but honestly it doesn't have to be. Just look at how widely successful the Mazda Miata is. Not that fast, but fun to drive. In fact, the BRZ is pretty much a Miata with a coupe body. Which one would you prefer? Is Subaru BRZ or Mazda Miata? Around $26,000, you have choices. If you want a fast car for straight line performance, get a Mustang. If you want to take a turn at 80 miles per hour, then the BRZ is the car for you. Next car is a DeLorean DMC-12. This car doesn't really need an introduction. It appeared as Marty McFly's time machine in the Back to the Future films back in the early 80s and early 90s. It hurts me to mention this car in this video because it's such an iconic car today, but it had to happen. Strip away the rocket boosters and the time travel abilities and you're left with a car that painfully underperforms. It carries a 2.9-liter V6 engine that was designed for Renault, Volvo, and Peugeot sedans. Peugeot. Well, I think that's it. You know what? Pidgeot from Pokemon, okay? It produces 130 horsepower and 153 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in 8.8 seconds, while some say it'll take more than 10 seconds if equipped with the automatic transmission. Its top speed is apparently 130 miles per hour. But get this, you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at its speedometer, which only displayed 85 miles per hour. Either way, for a car that attracts more attention than a passing Ferrari, the DeLorean is a huge letdown in the performance category. By looking at its outside appearance and its gold-winged doors, you'd think it'll be much faster. I mean, any car that has gold-winged doors has to be fast, right? Wrong. I mean, if you look back in history, it was supposed to be lighter and more powerful than the production version turned out to be. Despite all the delays, it was still not ready when sales began. Not only did the car underperform, it also had a price of $25,000, which equals today to around $72,000, which is more expensive than a Porsche 911 at the time. So as you can imagine, it didn't sell well. Only around 9,200 of them were made. And after John DeLorean got arrested for drugs, the company went bankrupt. The third car on the list is the Hyundai VELOSTER. Well, we can start with the name. VELOSTER as in velocity, right? Maybe slow velocity, but definitely not fast. I mean, it's gotten to the point where there are reports from owners asking others if something is wrong with their car because of the lack of performance. I'll be honest, I'm guilty of judging this car as being fast when first seeing it on the road. I mean, its exterior screams sportiness. Its coupe-like look, blacked out window pillars, its design resembles those of a motorcycle helmet. This is a car many were excited for when Hyundai first launched the VELOSTER, but the reality is it lags behind pretty much every hot hatch competitor. I mean, it has a hatch, but when it comes to performance, it's really not that hot. It carries a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine that produces 138 horsepower and 123 pound-feet of torque. It runs at 0 to 60 in around, drumroll please, 9 seconds. And even if you opt in for the turbo model, it only runs a 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds. I get it, what much more can you ask for a car that MSRP for around $18,000? But that's besides the point. Its quirky and sporty exterior makes you believe it runs much faster than that. Especially the turbo model with its red turbo badging throughout the car, the dual muffler tips, and an optional dual clutch transmission. Well, let's look at the positive for a second. It looks stylish, you get a quirky 3-door design, and you get great gas mileage. 29 miles per gallon city and 40 miles per gallon highway. Back to the negatives. The VELOSTER is slower than the Honda Odyssey minivan. The fourth slow car on the list is the Fisker Karma. According to some sources, it was the first electric plug-in luxury sports sedan. This is a car that doesn't fail to attract tons of attention from spectators. In my opinion, it looks absolutely stunning. It also looks like a very capable car when it comes to performance. It has the looks of an exotic car, it carries 22-inch aluminum wheels, and it has Brembo brakes equipped. I don't know about you, but most would probably guess this car can rip through the drag strip. But sadly, that's not the case. When we think of electric cars, we think of Tesla. Super fast, instant torque, gasoline car killer. While the Karma is the total opposite when it comes to performance. It does carry a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine supplied by GM, but unlike most hybrid vehicles, the engine doesn't power the wheels at all. It powers an 175 kilowatt generator that supplies energy to the batteries. Sort of like the Chevy Volt. You get 2 driving modes on the Karma. Stealth mode that runs purely electric without the help of the generator, and sports mode which kicks in the generator to give the car boost in performance while charging the battery. In stealth mode, it can run a 0 to 60 in 8 seconds, and when switched into sports mode, it can achieve a 0 to 60 in around 5.9 seconds. Top speed is 96 miles per hour on stealth mode and 125 miles per hour for sports mode. And yes, I know the thumbnail was a bit clickbaity, but technically, I wasn't lying. Honestly, both modes are still slow, especially for a car that retails for over $100,000. And of course, its weight of 4,500 pounds really doesn't help. Good news for those interested in owning a Karma. You can find them for around $40,000. But beware, reliability can be a concern. The last slow car on the list is the Mitsubishi Lancer GT. The Lancer is probably the most recognized Mitsubishi in the US. While the Lancer is not on par with the Evo, you would think it would at least share some of the same gene pool. If you're expecting that, you'll be disappointed. It's not as sporty as the aggressive look suggests. It's a shame because it's one of the better looking sports sedans out there for its price. It comes equipped with a nice spoiler, 18-inch wheels, a sports-tuned suspension, and a shark-like front end that is instantly recognizable among others on the road. It carries a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine that produces 168 horsepower and 167 pound-feet of torque, with the option of a 5-speed manual or a CVT automatic transmission. It completes a 0 to 60 run in 8.3 seconds and the quarter mile in 16.4 seconds. To be fair, the Lancer GT only retails for around $20,000 new, and its key competitors are the Mazda 3 Touring and the Kia Forte XS. And just like the BRZ, it's good on twisty roads versus straight line acceleration. Their earlier models like the Lancer Rally R and the Evo is definitely better for car enthusiasts looking for more speed, but still, they are nothing like the 8th generation Lancer Evos. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, that way you don't miss out on my next video. Let me know what you think. Do you think any of these cars don't belong on the list? And if you think there's another slow car that looks fast, make sure and comment below, let me know what that is. I don't know, but I have a feeling this comment section is going to get very spicy. Anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time.